What it is, everybody, Big Buddha Podcast, back at it like a crack addict. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. This is a free thinking podcast, and all people are welcome if you have an open mind and you don't mind listening to a man rant for around about an hour. Yeah, man, welcome, you know what I'm saying? I talk about all kinds of topics. I cover comedy, conspiracy, cannabis, little politics, little sports, a little bit of everything, pop culture, everything. We just talk about life and the world around us and try to have a good time while doing it. This is episode 11, which is pretty cool. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to put in one season yet, but I'm looking forward to season 2, possibly incorporating just, getting some video. I mean, I definitely have a face for radio, so to speak, but I think it'll be nice to get rent a podcast room and get some good guests in so you guys can see them and see us talking and have that video interaction as well. So I'm looking forward to that, season 2 coming up. But right now, we got a lot to talk about. 2020 has been the craziest year, and it's capping off with, I heard of a zombie hurricane. There was a hurricane that had subsided, and then it came back like a day later. It was like a zombie hurricane. So that's happening. Then we have the wildfires on the West Coast. And I heard there was like a big gender reveal party, which sparked a huge fire that ended up ruining a lot of stuff. And one of those things is, it's endangering the cannabis industry over in California. Not only have recent extreme weather patterns been forcing cannabis growers worldwide to think about rethink cultivation methods completely, but California wildfires may leave the cannabis industry scorched all along the West Coast. Turns out, according to Fox Business, that fire suppression is a bigger cause for the wildfires than global warming, environmentalists say, which is pretty crazy, because global warming is obviously a huge issue. California's largest wildfire is threatening a marijuana grow enclave, and authorities say many of the locals have refused to evacuate and abandon their maturing crops, even as weather forecasters predict more hot, dry, windy conditions that could fan more flames. The wildfire, called the August Complex, is nearing the small communities of Post Mountain and Trinity Pines, about 200 miles north of northwest Sacramento. Los Angeles Times reported. Law enforcement officers went door to door, warning the encroaching fire danger, but could not force residents to evacuate. Trinity County Sheriff's Department Deputy Nate Trillo said, it's mainly growers, and a lot of them don't want to leave because it's their livelihood, which is understandable. As many as 1,000 people remained in the Post Mountain Trinity Pines. Authorities say that local residents estimated Thursday that most of them stayed. So, I mean, I can't blame them. That it is a shame. It's fucking crazy because, I've seen photos. It's like some shit out of a fucking movie. Like, I think it was like 2012, when the world was supposed to end, they released that movie with The Rock and all that crazy shit was happening. Or, you guys remember the movie Day After Tomorrow, I think is what it was called? It was like Jake Gyllenhaal and shit. It was like the end of the world. There was all these storms cohesively happening at the same time. That's kind of what this feels like, dude. I've seen videos of like fire tornadoes and, fire as far as the eye can see, fields of fire, mountains of fire, It's a really crazy sight to see, especially like in our lifetime. And, I don't know, the dry climate out there is just fueling this, and it's, spreading like wildfire because that's what it is. It's basically, endangering a lot of people's livelihoods, homes, stuff like that. But I mean, you got to realize with marijuana and the industry out there, they have, pot fields, that's millions and millions of dollars worth of weed into effort and time and care. And so I can't blame them for not wanting to leave. But I mean, hopefully I don't know, hopefully we figure out a way to combat the fire or, snuff it out before it really, does too much damage. I don't know. I don't want to see the weed industry disappear. You know, everybody claims they get weed from California. I live in for the people that are not in the Midwest, I live in the Midwest, and everybody says they either get weed from California or Colorado. And so, if that's the truth, then I fucking hope that, everything's going to be all right. Plus, like I said, it's people's livelihoods, stuff like that. That's a fucking dream job, but I know it's really hard to get your license to grow and to be legit and to do it on the level that they do it. It takes a lot of money, time, effort, knowledge. It takes years and years. You have to apprentice with somebody that's already knows how to do it. Probably go to school for botany and stuff like that. So, it's not like these are just like some skeevy stoners. Like, these people have worked hard and they have millions and millions of dollars because they've, invested in themselves and found a way to, make a living in the cannabis industry. And also, out there, it's a lot of medicinal fields and stuff like that too. So, it is what it is. But a lot of people are going to be missing their medicine if, excuse me, if, the fires continue to spread in North Cal. That's fucked up. Another thing that's been happening lately, this thing with Netflix. I've been enjoying Netflix since the coronavirus, brouhaha kind of stirred up. And basically, lately, though, they've been having a little bit of trouble and a little bit of success at the same time. It's like a peak and a fall. Now, I didn't cancel my Netflix subscription like a lot of people did, but I kind of want to talk about this just because, I don't know, it's one of those things like where it's controversial, but like, I don't know. Like, I felt the way I felt about it, and I'm not going to change that. But they released a movie called Cuties. And Cuties is a movie, it's a Netflix original movie, and explores the life of an 11-year-old girl in Paris who's torn between her family's conservative Muslim identity and Western culture sexualization of young women. Supposedly, the girl eventually makes like-minded friends who influence her, and they start a dance team of sorts. The movie caused some controversy surrounding the provocative nature of the dance moves, considering the girl's age in the movie are all preteens. Netflix not only received eyes and ears full of complaints from outraged viewers, but also suffered a substantial financial loss due to subscribers canceling their service as a statement in boycotting the film. While it's argued that the exact intention of the film is to highlight the sexualization of the little girls, both in dance and the beauty pageant world, but like myself, I still find many like myself, still find the subject matter and the camera angles used in the movie to be uncomfortable and, frankly unnecessary, really. I guess there's only one way to do that type of movie, if you really want to bring a shock value, point of view to the issue. You kind of need to do that, but at the same time, like, you could have done it without, using all those, close-up camera angles, and it just, I saw the trailer. I didn't watch the fucking movie. I saw the trailer, and, that was enough, really. I felt uncomfortable watching the trailer, and, don't get me wrong, like, I kind of, like, I got the gist of it. When I saw the trailer, I figured, like, okay, well, they're trying to make a statement about the sexualization of young women, or, little girls in this case. While that's like, oh, okay, cool. But like, unfortunately, in order to do that, you have to do that. In order to bring light to the situation, you literally have to reenact what you're trying to, shed light on. So, the backlash was fierce, but actually it was shockingly brief. Netflix reported that the next day after they released the film, subscription cancellation was at 5 times the normal rate, but within just a couple days, the number had already returned back to normal. So, people put their foot down for about 2 days. and then not only did, the subscription cancellation went back to normal, but, I imagine people reinstated their accounts and all that good stuff. But on the upside for Netflix, really, they released a whole bunch of new shit, and one of those new shits is a documentary called The Social Dilemma. And like I said, despite the controversy surrounding the Cuties movie, Netflix is still getting more traffic than ever. Especially during the pandemic. They've released a bunch of titles that are doing very well. The documentary The Social Dilemma is a movie about human control and behavior manipulation via technological advancements. So, specifically, it's that of like social media apps that we use on our cell phones and stuff like that. We talk a lot about the gathering of data to determine things about a person, interests, search history, interaction habits, how often you use said apps, etc. They also mention that they make efforts to make their apps as like addictive as possible, as a means to keep you active all day long. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? They don't want you to switch over to a different app, a different social media app, and they're all competing with one another. And the more interaction you have on their app, the more successful they are. So it's well worth the watch. I'm not surprised it's doing well, because it's something that is so relevant to all of our lives, isn't it? We all invite, like these little spy devices into our world. We carry one in our pocket, these cell phones or computers, and our actual computers have cameras as well. We fly through terms and conditions on these social media apps and sign up for all kinds of shit, and basically, they give all information to law enforcement. If you're worried about that, then, don't type anything on Facebook or any of your apps, really. I mean, it doesn't matter, though, because, like I said before, post-Patriot Act, they've been able to tap your phone and do whatever they want anytime they want. And, as sad as that is, it's the truth. And so, it was part of, like, the Edward Snowden whistleblower thing, too, His whole thing was they're spying on American citizens, without just cause. It's not like all the people that they spy on are domestic terrorists or suspected to be domestic terrorists. Basically, they could suspect anyone, and so because of that, they just tap everybody's shit. And that's a part of that. But social media and like search engines and stuff like that in general, they collect, your searches and your data, and they have like an AI computer that like that generates, like the opinion of people and tries to, synthesize that. And that's why, you talk about something and then all of a sudden you see an ad for it, like on Facebook or on Google, or, that's why that shit happens. The number one movie on Netflix is actually the Social Dilemma, and it's in the number one hotspot this month. It basically, heading into the final week of September, which marks the first time a documentary has ever been the most popular movie on Netflix in any given month. So that's cool. Documentaries are great. I love watching documentaries. It's how I learn a lot about a lot of the stuff I know, and so... I don't know. I don't want to hang on that too much. But if you guys haven't seen The Social Dilemma, definitely worth the watch. I don't know. Since I've watched it, I can say I've like been on Facebook and stuff a lot less. I don't know, man. We're all a slave to our own entertainment. We all kind of sign up for this, and so that's one of those things. The Social Dilemma, though, it looks good. I'm kind of glad it's doing well, just because people need to see that shit. The end of the year is coming up. We got Black Friday coming up. Christmas is coming up after, I don't want to get ahead of myself because, it's still September, but you got to think about the upcoming months. The technology world out there is, buzzing. Electronics are coming out and they've got new shit every day. But one thing that everybody's excited about, myself included, is the release of the new consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and I guess like everybody's kind of, wondering which one they should pick, and they've got launch dates and, they've got the pricing out already, so which one are you guys going to, I mean, I've always been like an Xbox kind of guy, I don't know why, but, it seems like, it's kind of like, like whenever a guy's like, I drive a Chevy, my dad drove a Chevy, like, I don't know. My dad bought me an Xbox when I was young, like the Xbox, the original Xbox. And, I never went back. I mean, I had, when I was young, I had a Sega Genesis, then I had a Sega Saturn, then I had a Sega Dreamcast. And then we got an Xbox, and I just never looked back. I mean, all my friends had PlayStations, and I enjoyed playing PlayStations, Super Nintendos and all that good shit, like, I played other consoles. I just, I don't know why. I just always had an Xbox. I had an Xbox, then I got an Xbox 360 eventually. Now I have an Xbox One, and, I'm probably going to go for the Xbox Series X. One thing I'll say, both of them look cool. PlayStation looks like a Wi-Fi router, and and I saw this funny meme that said the Xbox One looks like a mini fridge, and I was like, I'm going for the mini fridge probably. But when you're comparing the stats and their digital only variations, there's a lot of factors to and when making an early decision for buying. The next generation is all about power, speed, eye-popping visuals, and when it comes to the internal specs used to achieve these things, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X aren't too far apart. Though Microsoft does appear to have the edge on paper when you compare the stats. We've been looking at both companies attempt to differentiate their consoles with their distinct designs and their quite different approaches to the next-gen exclusives and services. This generation, Microsoft is foregoing exclusive Series X games at first to put an emphasis on the Xbox Game Pass and cross-generation play, while Sony is looking forward, continuing to bet on the strength of the first-party lineup with exclusive PS5 games that will make use of the console's power and features in its new DualSense controller. That being said, Sony has revealed that both Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Horizon Forbidden West are coming to PS4 and PS5 exclusively. Not sure which generation console to pick up. Well, both Microsoft and Sony have gone live with their pre-orders. The PS5 pre-orders went live on September 17th, while the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S pre-orders went on live September 22nd. Keep an eye on our Xbox Series X pre-order date page, because you can go to it, but honestly, I've heard that they were the Xbox and the PlayStations are sold out. Like the pre-orders, they sold out in 2 days, and so everybody done went through it. So far. The cost is a thing. The Xbox Series X is going to cost $499, and the disc-based PS5 costs $499 as well. So they're about the same price. I imagine the Xbox Series S will probably be a tad bit cheaper than the X, but who knows? I don't know. I heard that the PS5 was more powerful than the Xbox Series X, but their processing capabilities seem actually pretty similar so far. Microsoft appears to have the slight advantage when it comes to the raw specs, as I said before. Actually, when you break it down, the Microsoft team has, just slight, the GPU is just slightly bigger. It's the PlayStation 5 has a 10.3 teraflop AMD RDNA 2, and the Xbox Series X GPU has a 12 teraflop AMD RDNA 2. So, it's just shit like that. It's just a couple, the memory. It's like a terabyte on the Xbox. It's only 825 gigabytes on the PS5. They both have 8K solution. The frame rate's the same. They're both backwards compatible. Almost all PS4 games, optimized PS4 Pro titles will be able to be played on the PS5, and on the Xbox, all Xbox One games, select Xbox 360 and original Xbox games will also be able to be played on the Xbox Series X, which is pretty fucking sweet. If I can put in my Xbox game, not Xbox 360, if I can put in my fucking Xbox game, the original Xbox in my Xbox Series X and play it, that's fucking cool, man. But I mean, no doubt, these they're marketing geniuses. They got people that work for them. They know what they're doing. They're going to release it right in time for the holidays, and people are just going to be hysteria, and people are going to go nuts for it, and we're going to consume the way they want us to. Obey, consume, buy, kill your neighbor for the new Xbox. They already sold out the pre-orders, man. I mean, that's crazy. We're in a pandemic. There's people poorer than ever, more poor than ever, rather. And, they sold out the pre-orders, People are just sitting at home. They had shit to do, But another thing that happened for Microsoft actually is they acquired a company just a couple days ago. They got a ton of fucking money. They got a ton of money. That was made evident earlier this week when the company extended its studio buying spree with the largest acquisition, buying ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda Softworks, for $7.5 billion. The deal brings a huge number of fan favorite games and series under the Xbox umbrella, from Fallout to Elder Scrolls to Wolfenstein, Doom, Prey, Dishonored, not to mention Bethesda's upcoming sci-fi RPG Starfield. In one moment, the entire exclusive content conversation about the Xbox Series X and PS5 generation shifted. The details on how Microsoft will approach the exclusivity remain unclear, and it's been the topic of much discussion over the last few days. Elder Scrolls 6, for example, is virtually guaranteed to be a landmark game when it comes out, and holding that back to Xbox and PC would be a gigantic thing for the industry. Starfield 5 as an Xbox PC exclusive would be a big deal too, though it would probably go down easier without the history of the Elder Scrolls series. Absolutely. If you know how many people are going to buy an Xbox just so they can play Elder Scrolls 6 or the new Fallout when it comes out? Or any of those titles, for Wolfenstein, Doom, they all have their diehard fans that play those series. There's a series of games, and for me, I fucking played Skyrim for like 5 years. Like, I played so much fucking Skyrim, dude, that I was like going outside with my hands in the air. like the first time I played Sky, I used to make fun of my friend Dustin, and for playing it, I'm like, playing your dragon game, and like he was just like, just play it, just play it. I got stoned one day and I actually played it. And dude, my first time I played it, I straight up played for 19 hours. Didn't do shit for 19 hours. They were like, we're going to get food. You want to come? I'm like, no. I didn't even look away from the screen. Like, I had to sleep. I slept for 4 hours, came back over to his house, and I played again for another 15 hours. And that continued. Like, I was on Skyrim forever. This shit's addicting. And I know a lot of people say they don't like Skyrim. It's like too slow, but it's like the perfect pace for me. It was awesome. And I can't wait for Elder Scrolls 6. So, I mean, that kind of solidifies my interest in the new Xbox, really. But, honestly, like that article just kind of mentioned, I think that, it's one of those, like, I don't think that Xbox really is going to be, a dick about it, While this certainly may offer some initial incentive for PlayStation loyalists to perhaps switch to Xbox when the new consoles drop, I can see that early releases and exclusive being a thing under this new deal. I don't necessarily think it means that games under this parent company will be slowly exclusive to Xbox. Seeing as Microsoft likes money and Sony wants to keep their gamers happy, they may just end up striking some type of deal. They'll bite their lip and play ball for a fee, or maybe not. We'll see what happens. Regardless, I've seen some mild, understandable outrage from some of the PS players surrounding the matter, many claiming that Microsoft acquiring these titles may ruin the integrity of the beloved game series, and such as Bethesda's Elder Scrolls and Fallout, etc. Although this may not be the case for real. With Bethesda fans being accustomed to waiting 5 to 10 years for a new title, their favorite game series, new edition, like we waited forever for Skyrim, and now Skyrim came out hellas ago, like 7 or 8 years ago, I think, and we're still waiting on Elder Scrolls 6, so there you go. I mean, they came out with Elder Scrolls Online or whatever, but it just wasn't the same, but we're used to waiting. The Bethesda fans out here, we're used to waiting 5 to 10 years for a new title, and Microsoft acquiring these companies may undoubtedly increase funding and hopefully improve the production speed as well as the game quality, playability. I don't see why Microsoft acquiring the company would ruin the integrity of any of the games. I don't understand that opinion. I think that's just bitter PlayStation people that are mad. Which, I mean, like I said, I understand the outrage. It's understandable. But I mean, at the same time, hate the game, don't hate the player. Microsoft is just playing chess, when Sony's playing checkers, you know what I mean? So Sony's going to have to do something big, and I'm sure they will. They'll counteract it, and they'll give you a reason to buy both consoles, no doubt. I mean, that's what America's all about, consuming, spending money you don't have on shit you don't need. That's the American way. Speaking about the American way, some other shit happened for real. We've had quite a week in the politic world. Like I said, in other episodes previous, I'm not trying to harp on the fucking politics shit, but it is important. We're increasing, we're encroaching rather on the election. It's coming up quite rapidly. It's already at the end of September. Next week actually is October, and the election's just 2 months away. So also what happened earlier this week, though, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she is a Supreme Court justice, lost her battle with cancer and sadly died at the age of 87. The notorious RBG won the hearts of many in the nation with her noble personality and her honorable nature. She played a vital role in the advancement of women in the workplace and was also a legal champion for civil rights throughout her career. Replacing her is complicated for many reasons, but it's not just who should take the spot, but when they should take the spot. Despite previously blocking Barack Obama from appointing Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court during an election back in 2016, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said that he would now allow Trump to do just that here in 2020. What a hypocrite. 4 moderate GOP senators voted on the matter, and after just a day and a half, they decided to move forward with Donald Trump appointing the replacement justice. In a game of political chess, Democrats have made a motion to add a 10th additional seat to the Supreme Court to help even the odds regardless of what happens. But, I mean, honestly, that seems incredibly unlikely unless, the Democrats can somehow find a way to win back the majority of the Senate next year. With coronavirus numbers going up all around the nation and the death toll now clocking in just over 200,000 people, it's safe to say that more people now than ever are nervous about doing any type of mass congregation. Voting's not going to be any different, for real. And as I've said before, for obvious reasons, has been a push to extend the absentee mail-in balloting system. And that means that, it'll take a bit longer to receive and count up all the votes for the election, obviously. In fact, it could be up to 7 days after the election that we'll know who inherit the kingdom of ashes. We won't even know who wins for 7 days, possibly. It depends on how long it takes. But Donald Trump's not accepting that answer, and the anticipation, quite frankly, has Donnie sitting like a duck on water, He's calm on the surface, but his feet are moving a mile a minute under the water, And, with the office at stake, his job in jeopardy, Trump is declaring that the mail-in ballots are in fact subject to fraud, and the election hasn't even happened yet. And the Cheeto-in-chief is already crying wolf, undermining the integrity of the American election by saying that it's quote-unquote rigged. Meanwhile, millionaire Trump campaign donor and newly appointed USPS Postmaster General Louis DeJoy has played a vital role in preparing to deal with this issue. Their idea is to slow down the mail, or stop the mail even. DeJoy has made budget cuts, layoffs. He implemented new company policies to delay shipment on certain nights and cut overtime so mail sits on the floor if they don't get to it during the day, which will obviously slow things down. Residents have already reported that they're just not getting mail for days at a time, and then a bunch will come all at once. That's a problem for a lot of reasons, medication, etc., bills, but, one of these, if we're doing mail-in ballots, a lot of people are trying to do these mail-in ballots, basically, that's gonna be tragic to the election, and so for him to be the one crying election fraud, it's kind of funny. I did like a whole episode about this, and I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but it's really important. They removed mail drop boxes from strategic street corners in urban areas, of course, because that's where he's gonna lose at. So they're removing the drop boxes in neighborhoods where Trump's probably not gonna win. And he's also removing mail sorting machines from certain post office facilities. Louis DeJoy donated $1.1 million to the Trump victory campaign just last month. So there you go. If that's not collusion, I don't know what is. Trump appointed him in May, and he's never worked for the post office a day in his life prior to May. And now, in not only that, he's a Trump campaign donor, Trump Victory Fund donor, and he's a millionaire. He's one of Trump's buddies. So I don't know, why they're not looking into that. Actually, I know, DeJoy got sued in Wisconsin or something over this whole thing, and he lost in court. He had to pay up. He actually they told him he had to put back the mail sorting machines. And he said that we can't because they scrapped them out. They broke all the machines down and destroyed them. Scrapped it out. Awfully convenient. If they can make it so ballots don't get in on time and the counting takes too long, the GOP can try to use this as a basis to officially declare the election fraudulent. In fact, Trump has said the only way we can lose this election is if it is rigged, which actually leaves zero room for debate on his intentions on the matter. It's very clear. He has also stated that he will try to implement executive order to try to keep the office from changing hands in the case that he does happen to lose. However, Trump can drag, if Trump can drag out the vote in 35 swing states, most of which are actually Republican, to be noted, said states will be constitutionally required to certify electors, meaning at that time Trump could literally just ask the state legislators to set aside the popular vote and choose the winner for themselves. Now, as controversial as all this may seem, the conclusion may boil down to an official decision of some sort from the Supreme Court. That being said, it's not even a mystery why the Trump administration actually was so desperate to swiftly fill Justice Ginsburg's seats. Sorry, I'm high as shit. Shockingly, Trump has alluded that he will select the super conservative Republican and religious fanatic judge Amy Coney Barrett to fill the spot before the election in November. To be honest, we don't have to imagine what a Trump America would look like. We've been living in it for 4 whole years. And, just look outside, look around you. Talk to the people around you. That is the condition of your nation. The right like to paint this picture like a Democrat president at this time is going to continue to further the ever-growing divide in the people in America. It's going to invoke more violence and destruction in the country. When currently, already, it's in shambles, both morally and physically. Injustice and civil unrest has delivered us to the doorstep of a possible new revolutionary civil war type situation. It's fucked up. It's like a movie. It's like the worst movie. Or the best movie, maybe. I would maybe enjoy this movie if I didn't have to live in it. I'm worried about the kids. That sucks. Like, what world was left for us, And we look at the kids under our children, our nieces and nephews, cousins, whatever, the kids. What world are we going to leave for them, And we have all these career-long, politicians sitting on Congress and sitting in the Senate and, and they stay there for 30, 40, 50 years. No change is ever going to come of that. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And if these people aren't willing to change and do, what's right for the American people, then we need to get them out of office. And that includes the president, of course. And while I'll be the first to admit my skepticism in the electoral process and my acknowledgement that both sides of this corrupt two-party system are bought and sold at the mercy of our corporate masters, we cannot allow this glorified reality star to turn our nation into a fascist dictatorship. At this point, I'm voting just to be able to say, shit, at least I tried, one way or another. I don't know. It's one of those things like he's challenging the integrity of the election himself. He's the president. He's doing that. How do other countries look at us, If our election process is fraudulent and our president's going around saying that it's fraudulent, and he's the one committing election fraud, I already know how they see it. I see political cartoons from other countries and shit all the time, and quite frankly, it's sad. We used to be, even if we weren't the quote-unquote superpower, we always thought we were, mentally. America was number one, and I think other countries were afraid of us because of our military, so they allowed us to like run with that narrative, and we sold that American dream over and over and over to everybody, even ourselves. We sold it to ourselves, but of course we sold it to other people too. And then people wonder why people want to migrate to America for a false dream that really doesn't even exist. Because when you get here, it's not much different. I mean, it's a little nicer, than Mexico or El Salvador. It's a war-torn country falling apart, ran by the cartels, and people are dying in the streets. A lot of these kids have had their parents and uncles and family killed and massacred in front of them. And then they had a long journey to get to America. And then they get here and they happen to get caught by some ICE detention officer, and he puts them in a fucking dog cage and gives them like, you can sleep on that cement floor. Here's an aluminum blanket for you. That's the country that we're living in under Donald Trump, and it's going to continue to get worse. And I know he thinks he's a patriot for wanting to lock down the borders and all that shit, but like, we did this to ourselves. We were the ones that told everybody we were the best, and this is the land of the free, and we pride ourselves on having this civilized democracy. I don't see it. I don't see the civilized democracy anymore. Perhaps one day it'll come back, but I mean, shit, man, it's one of those things, dude. I really try not to get too serious on this motherfucker, because I like to laugh. I know y'all like to laugh, and I want to do some more weed segments, but this shit's fucking important, man. I don't know. Like, I don't give a shit whether you vote Democrat or if you vote third party or whatever, dude. Just get out and vote, and if this shit fucking works, hopefully we can get this dude out. I'm just, I don't know. I know, like, a lot of you viewers or, listeners really might like Donald Trump. I don't mean to offend you as a person, I don't understand it, and it seems like the biggest disgrace to the office that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I didn't think we would ever get worse than George Bush, but I will never forgive Donald Trump for making me miss George W. Bush. I will never forgive him for that. The corporate, masters, he's one of them. He's a corporate CEO. That's what he does. Those are his friends. Those are in his tax bracket. Those are the people he's benefiting. He is a corporate implant in the office. I've said it before. That is just what it is. What it is. He supports that. Capitalism has run rampant to the point where we are now ran by money. Money is God. Money is the money motivation. We've no longer found a way to preserve the meaning of life without money. It's what we define as happiness and comfortability and security. All that, our status of wealth and just how we look and feel, and everything is surrounded around money and consuming, and we need to have the nicest shit all the fucking time, and we need to have fucking Jordans, and we got to drink fucking Starbucks, and it's all about branding, and this is what America has become, and he knows that, and he's trying to further that. He's not wanting to stop it. It's not like, and really, like the same thing as, like I said earlier with the social dilemma thing. We do this to ourselves, They tie the rope, we kick the fucking chair, dude. We hang ourselves, just allowing these spy devices in our pockets. And I'm guilty too. I'm not preaching to you. I'm preaching to the choir, and I'm part of the choir. I'm singing too, because I carry phones with me, and I got my computer. I'm on the internet. I got Facebook. I got Twitter. I got Instagram. I got Snapchat. I got TikTok. I got all that shit, and they're spying on me and you on all that, and that's the American government. That's the American way. I don't know. I'm hoping that changes. I'm not saying Biden or fucking Joe Jordison or whoever, I'm not saying any of the candidates are going to fix this shit completely. It's just about getting someone who's going to implement policies that either directly or indirectly benefit the American people, down here on the ground floor. Because like I said, both sides of this two-party system work for their own corporate masters, different industries and shit that are lobbying in the Congress and Senate and even our president. I'm sure there's some under-table deals, going down. There's probably a lot of shit we don't know about, especially because he's quote unquote a businessman. He's not even a politician, which is fine. Like I'm cool with a rocket scientist or a war general or a rocket, an engineer. I said rocket scientist, like a doctor, or a lawyer, a really famous lawyer. Like I'm cool with certain people becoming president. It doesn't have to be a politician. You know what I mean? But when it comes to a sleazy businessman like Donald Trump, who's consistently and repeatedly proven himself to be a snake, and I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I mean, fuck it, man. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it. Donald Trump needs to get out of office. I don't give a fuck who gets it. As I said earlier, I mean, it's really just about who's going to inherit the kingdom of ashes now. There might not be much left after Donald Trump gets out of office, and if he refuses to leave office, this is going to be some entertaining fucking shit. I know somebody said it before. I think we should just do a celebrity boxing match and just let Donald and Biden fucking kill each other, That's what I think. It'd be fucking entertaining. It's better than anything else, Let them fight to the death. We would love that. America's like the new age Rome, We don't have a Coliseum, but we got reality fucking TV. God damn it. we want blood. Yeah, no, maybe no mistake about it, We don't live in this civilized society that we think we do. Society's only civilized until you give them a reason not to be. I think we're finding that out. It seems to be the topic of this whole season of podcasts. It's just the crazy shit that's happening here in 2020. I don't know, man. I'm not ready for November, but at the same time, I need to get closure with Donnie Boy getting out of the office, just because it seems to be the most important thing that I can even think about lately. Besides like my own physical health and mental well-being. But as I've said many times before, don't take my word for it on any of the shit that I talked about today. Take the topics, go do your own research. As I said before, free thinkers are welcome. You can leave questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, shit like that in the comment section. Message me, call me, and yell at me or tell me you love it. I don't even care at this point. Just interaction would be great. Thanks a lot. You can check, I don't know where you're listening to this on, but you can check us out on, or check me out rather. I do this by myself. I got many people in my head though. We are legion. We are many. You can check me out on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that shit. And yeah, man, Big Buddha Podcast happening again. Episode 12, couple days from now, probably gonna drop. Thank you for joining me. I don't know if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the St. Louis area tonight, on September 26th at 8 p.m., my band Yesteryear will be playing at Firehouse Bar and Grill in St. Louis, South County on Lee May Ferry Road. We play unique acoustic renditions of popular songs from way back when to right now, from the latest to greatest. So, yeah, man, if you guys are into some good music and you could use the night out like I know I could, I've been cooped up like a mofo. Yeah, man, come on out. Firehouse Bar and Grill, South County, 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. I love y'all. Come back next time. You hear?